Howdy-o, folks. Hello and welcome to my graveyard. I am your host of Divulging, the Cemetery Man. From Salem, Mass, always taking names, kicking candy ass, live and in living color here with you on Grande's Graveyard. Not really live, pre-recorded. I'm so used to saying that whole intro just like that, but we're being pre-recorded here. We're not live, so don't feel like you missed anything. But, of course, I wanted to come on here and record this because I actually have been teasing you guys for far too long. If you don't know what I'm referring to, on the community tab, I've been posting little behind-the-scenes photos of a certain production that I actually am making. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, for the very first time in my life, I am writing, directing, and producing my very first and very own horror movie short. Now, I'm super excited to share this news with you guys. I've been meaning to for a while. I mean, I wanted to do it even before I went into production, but I won't lie, I'm not one to be superstitious, but I was like, let me fucking get some film in the can before I fucking say anything, because you never know what's going to go wrong. You could come on here and then 2 weeks later, oh, an actor backed out, or oh, this went wrong, or that went wrong, and now you're shut down, and now it's not happening. So I didn't want to promise things that weren't going to come. And honestly, I think that's more superstitious than anything else. I was just kind of nervous and afraid and anxious and all of these different things at once. And I mean, I'm only human. I mean, I guess that's a normal thing to feel. But this is a long time coming. I mean, I've always loved the genre, as you guys, of course, know. I mean, I'm a diehard fan of it. I come on every single Thursday night and talk about why I love horror. And then, I mean, you know, for also a long time, I've written short stories. I've always wanted to, you know, express my own creativity and let my creative juices flow. And I've written short stories, and I usually keep them to myself. And what happened was I was at a party like a week after my birthday towards the end of last year. It was like literally like December 30th, I believe, of last year. I went to a party after me and my friends, we had all went out to dinner to celebrate. And I met this good kid, Josh Ezra, who's just a really, really great guy. He acted as my assistant on this production. And he and I were talking at the party. We were talking all things Mets and movies. And he asked me, he said, hey, man, he goes, have you ever considered making a horror movie? Because I know you talk about them every week. And I was like, you know, I mean, it's a dream of mine, but I don't think it could ever happen. I mean, it would just be so many things that would have to go into it that I don't know how I could get together. I mean, I don't have a cast. I don't have a crew. I don't have this. I don't have that. I basically threw a lot of excuses at him and told him it would be a dream to come true if we could, but honestly, I don't see it ever happening. And what he said was, he goes, listen, man, if you have ideas, if you have short stories written, right then and there, you have an idea, and that's a big thing. And he goes, and for the other stuff, I mean, he was like, if you're willing to produce, if you're willing to pay for these things, we could probably get stage actors, because he himself is a stage actor. He's done a lot of stage performances in his college and other schools and for other theater companies. And he's just huge into acting. He loves acting. And he was like, listen, I'll work with you. I'll be your assistant if you want. We could see if we can get a cinematographer together, and we could also just pay, you know, actors that I know locally upstate or, you know, on the island or wherever the fuck we could find good actors that Josh would know. And he was like, if you're willing to pay them all, we could probably get together a couple dates and try to shoot a short. And I drove home that night, and I remember thinking, like, man, that would be so cool. Like, I was like, no doubt I can compensate people if we are serious about this. And basically he and I, we had a bunch of video chats, actually on StreamYard, funny enough, backstage. So he was never on the channel officially, but we were backstage talking. And then we found this wonderful cinematographer named Joe Laspina, who, shout out to Joe Laspina, did a wonderful job and brought all of his own equipment. What Joe does is he does cinematography for weddings, and he does the wedding videos. He edits all that stuff together. He has all this wonderful high-tech equipment that saved me a lot of money, because initially when we spoke with Joe, he was saying, listen, it's about $500 to rent good equipment out for a weekend. So I was like, okay, so right then and there, if we're shooting 2 weekends, that's $1,000. Like, that's right off the bat, just to shoot it, just the equipment. We don't have a cast, we don't have a crew, we don't have a location, we don't have fucking nothing other than me, myself, and I, and Josh, and Joe, and it's already $1,000 out of my pocket. So Joe was like, listen, at first he was like, we're going to have to rent this stuff. And then at second, he was like, listen, I have some good stuff. Let's save your money here. Let's hit the brakes on this, and we'll just use my equipment. And he had unbelievable amount of equipment. I mean, lights, cameras, 4K cameras. He has a drone camera where, yes, we got overhead shots in this movie, which is, I can't even believe. I was like, this is incredible if this turns out well. Like, I could not believe we had overhead shots and things like that. Like, all of his equipment was top notch, and I really, you know, can't thank him enough for being professional, number one, and being prepared, number two. I mean, he was super professional and prepared, so I thank him. I mean, I couldn't thank him enough. And then, of course, it was so fun to get the crew together and the cast. Of course, crew-wise, I asked my good buddy Ryan, I asked my good friend Mark if they would be interested in helping out behind the scenes, holding lights, holding cameras, doing whatever we need them to do. And then, of course, getting the cast was Josh's idea. Josh was like, listen, I've worked with all these wonderful people, and he came up with our lead girl, who's going to be played by Danielle Profundi, who has actually done another horror short. I could even link it down below if you want to see the lead of my short. She actually was in another horror short about 5 years ago, and the short is on YouTube. I believe it's called Fear, and she was the lead in that. So it's so cool to 5 years later, here she is a lead in another horror short. So, and she was super nice, super professional. I mean, I can't say enough good things, man. She brought such a good performance, I think, to this, and I'm very excited for people to see what she brought. And on the other side of the coin, I had to have an antagonist, which, spoiler alert, is a female, and that was, of course, Miss Courtney Gilmore, who I only worked with the one night. She only could film for one night of the two, but man, her presence was astounding. I do think Danielle was an amazing actress, and I think she gave arguably the best performance of this whole thing. But Courtney's presence is something that I'm hoping lingers with people. Like, I'm hoping that's something that will really get underneath your skin and get people thinking, man, she just has a wonderful screen presence. And even in person, like when I was directing some scenes with her, I was like, oh my God, this girl is fucking fantastic. So shout out to both of you. Shout out to both of you guys. You did a great job, and I'm really fortunate to have worked with you. And then, of course, we had some side characters. Of course, my good friend Henry Horseman, who's been on the show. I had him on for his Top 5 Studio Ghibli. Just a great guy, bring a great energy to the whole thing. And he's the first thing you see in my short. He's telling a campfire story, and he's the very first person you'll see and hear in my short. So, I mean, I really wanted to get one of my best buddies in there, and Henry Horseman is that. And of course, Henry brought his girlfriend Alyssa, and the two of them were playing boyfriend and girlfriend in the short. So super cool how that all worked together. And then funny enough, when you make a short, you run into problems. I initially had my friend Connor casted as the JP character, which is, if everyone knows, one of my best friends in the world is JP. He's been on the show. We did The Sopranos together. He's not a big horror guy, but we did The Sopranos, High Tension. I've had JP on the show quite a few times. And I named the character after him. But Connor, my other good friend, who I've also had on the channel, he was going to play the part. The day of, like the first day of shooting, he backs out. He was like, I have a show. I can't make it. Sorry. And I'm like, holy shit. So me and Josh were running around with like chickens with their fucking heads cut off. And Josh found this kid, Dylan, who he also knew from a previous kind of performance, I guess, or stage play. And Dylan came on literally less than a day's notice, came and nailed the character of JP. So, I mean, I was very fortunate there with that. And there's, the thing with this and the thing with directing your own short, number one, you don't realize how many problems you can run into or challenges you're going to come into until you get there, until you start. And I know that a lot of people stress film school and things like that, but man, to me, this was film school. Like I learned so much in the 2 nights of shooting this short. I just couldn't believe it. And man, I had a great time. I really did. It was so fun to tell a cinematographer what you want for a look, what kind of angle of a shot that you want, or working with an actress or an actor and telling them what you want from them. You want a certain energy, you want a certain dial back, you want a certain emotion, a look. And man, that stuff, I actually I will toot my own horn. I'm not one to do that very much because it's fucking conceited to do. But I think I did a really good job working with the actors and the crew, man. It flowed really well. It was pleasant experience, no fighting, no arguments, just a very positive vibe. And I think that really is going to help the cause of the movie. Now, I haven't seen the movie all the way through yet. Of course, I do have it in the editing process. I'll be with my editor tomorrow, and we're going to see what we got here. I'm going to put all the, of course, takes that I want in there. We're going to see if we can mesh them together. And then, of course, my good friend Billy Henry is going to be adding the music to this son of a bitch. So that's going to be really cool. I'm really excited to work with both of them about this because they were both just fantastic to work with, anyway. I mean, both of them are two of my best friends anyway. So to be working with them on this is just really fun. But, I mean, I really got to say this too. And this, people probably like, what? You saying this? You admitting this? Yeah, it's the truth. I've garnered some respect for filmmakers that I previously teased. Like, and I know probably people would be like, hypocrite, or throw stones and say I throw stones in a glass house. It's possible. Listen, hey, I'm no stranger to a rant. I'm very honest about how I feel, and I understand that completely. But with that being said, I always remember the video with Eli Roth. It's like I think it's like 26 minute video. He's talking about cabin fever and all the problems he had in making cabin fever, like all the fucking issues he went through as a director. And I always tease Eli Roth because a lot of his movies I kind of make fun of or whatever. But man, you know what? I have a newfound respect for that guy just based on the fact that at least he gave it his all, man. And I have a tremendous respect for anyone that goes out and trying to make a film, because it is not easy work. It is really hard work, in my opinion. And man, I firsthand saw how hard it is. Now, it could be fun. It was fun. But at the same time, it's hard work, man. And I'm very, much more appreciative of the other side of the coin. Sometimes when I throw stones or throw eggs or whatever the fuck at these people, I now kind of see it on the other side. Like, I get where they're coming from if they defend themselves or say, hey, I worked really hard on this. I understand that now. I really do. It's something I've absolutely only recently learned. You really, have to give a little bit of respect to those guys, whether you like their films or not. At least they're out there giving it their best. Win, lose, or draw, they gave it their all, man. At least some of them. I mean, and there are still filmmakers that go out there, don't try, and we're not going to talk about them. But that is neither here nor there. I gotta say, filming this has been so fun, and it just really energized me even more so. And it's exciting. It's, anxiety inducing. It makes you feel all these different ways and things at once. And I don't know, I have just had such a wonderful time doing it. And man, to me, some of the most surreal parts about this was literally seeing actors perform something I wrote. Just standing there with a script, watching the scene and watching these actors interact with each other, like using my dialogue. I was like, this is surreal. Like, this is something I wrote and fantasized and imagined. And here it is actually being portrayed in front of me for real, and we're capturing on camera for everyone to see, which is just so amazing and wild. And oh my God, like, it's just incredible, really incredible stuff, in my opinion. And I'm just so humbled and flattered that most of the shooting went well. Now, we didn't go without problems. We had one problem or two. And when I say that, we had more than one problem or two. But definitely some stories I could tell. With the second night, we're walking from one shoreline to the other, and fucking all of a sudden, something hits my ear, and it was a bat. It was a giant bat. And I'm like, holy shit, I just got attacked by fucking Dracula over there. So that was funny. I came home the second night, had a big tick on my arm, like, fuck, washed it off through, peroxide, alcohol, all that shit. Because both of these shoots were night shoots. And now I don't want to divulge much of the plot here, because if I do, I don't know. It's a short, right? Like, it's not very long. So the more I tell you, the more I could kind of ruin it at the same time. It's only so many minutes long. It's only going to be so many minutes long. I'll know tomorrow exactly how long. And right now it's looking like 12 to 15 minutes, probably more so towards 12. But still, I don't know how much I really want to divulge of the plot. Maybe I could do a brief plot synopsis. I'll write one up after the video and put it underneath the video. Maybe I'll do something like that. I don't want to do it while I'm pre-recording, because I'll fuck it up, and I don't want to. This has been a decent take so far. I just can't believe how well most of it went, though. Like, we did run into some problems. Like I said, there were definitely some issues and hardships there, and definitely arguments, man. Like, I'll say this right off the bat. Like, Josh, great guy to work with. I enjoyed working with him. He's an actor first, and he was assistant director with me on this. He helped get the cast. He helped fucking scout location. I'm not going to say the location because I didn't have a permit to shoot there. So I am not going to say it on camera where the fuck we shot this, because if they ever found out, I don't know, I could get in trouble. So I'm not going to say where we fucking shot it. All I could say is I paid my money to, rent out a site, and we fucking filmed it there. And thankfully, none of the park rangers or the fucking Paw Patrol, none of them fucking came after us, thankfully, man, which was a very big stress reliever, because I was nervous of that the whole time. But Josh challenged me, man. Josh really, really challenged me. Josh is someone who's acted in a ton of plays. He's directed his own plays. And he was a guy that really challenged me. Now, he doesn't come from the world of horror. He definitely is not. I could tell he's not somebody that was into the genre as a kid or grew up with it. You could just tell. I don't even know that for a fact, but I'm pretty sure I could tell that was the situation. But he challenged me, man. Like, if I was wanting to do it this way, why do you want to do it this way? Tell me, explain it to me why this will work in the finished product. And we worked together pretty well. And man, honestly, we really worked pretty well together. I'm very happy with how the whole thing went with he and I. I think he was a vital piece to this whole thing. I really don't think it would have happened without him, because he's really the one that gave me the green light and said, man, let's just go for this. Let's just do this, man. And if you can compensate people, that's fantastic. Like, let's get into this. Let's make your dream come true. And that's the coolest part of this whole thing. You know, like I just couldn't believe how fun it was to work with people and direct and see stuff you wrote come to life. And then even the producing part, I actually felt good when I paid the actors the other day. It was like, I feel good right now. Like, I just paid my actors and everyone seems happy. Everybody had a good time. And man, that's what movies should be all about. It really should be. And I don't know. It just really, it humbled me. This whole experience really has humbled me. And I had such a great time doing it. It really did. The whole thing is just wild. It really is. That's really the word to describe the whole thing. Now, I guess I could give a little bit of information as to when this is going to drop, because I'm sure if I don't say anything, people, when the fuck can we see it, you four-eyed fuck? I sat here for 16 minutes. I understand. So here's the thing. There is a short horror film festival out in Huntington, aka the Cinema Arts Center, which is where I go for all the retro 35mm screenings. Probably my favorite movie theater on the planet Earth. They are having in October a short horror film festival exclusive to New Yorkers. And so what I'm going to do is, once we're done with the editing process and my music man adds his music, I'm going to submit it there. If we get accepted, my fucking short film will play on the same screen where I saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 35mm. It'll play on the same screen where we saw Wild at Heart on 35mm. It'll play on the same screen where we saw Clockwork Orange and all these wonderful movies that I've gone and seen over the years in that theater. I mean, I have so many great memories in that theater. Where Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 played on 35mm. Like, that's how great this theater is. I mean, the Retro Picture Show is just one of my favorite things to do in the world. And I mean, it would be an honor to play on that same screen as alongside movies that I just mentioned in the past. I mean, that would be incredible to me. If that happens, if we get accepted to that festival, it will not be able to be released legally until that day, where I believe is October the 21st. The festival is called Scared for Your Life. And it's a short horror film festival exclusive to Huntington. So if we get accepted, it would premiere there on that big screen on October the 21st. And then after that, then it's my fair game. I could release it anywhere. Probably will go straight to here for free for everybody to see. If we get declined, however, it'll probably drop here sooner than later. And I'll make a video saying if we got accepted or declined. If we got accepted, it's not going to be till after October 21st. If we get declined, it'll probably be relatively sooner than October 21st. Unless I want to hold off on it and just fucking throw it out in October, man. Because October, I mean, what better time to throw a horror short out, right? I mean, it's just a no-brainer. But yeah, no, so that's really where we stand with that. It really is up to them. If they get, but also here's the thing, like the other side of the coin. If we get accepted, I might want to throw it in other festivals. Like, if it's that good, if it's good enough for one festival, why wouldn't it be good enough for the other? So we might try a few if we get one. The snowball effect could take place. It also could blow up horribly in my face and they think it's garbage and say, no, this is direct to the graveyard, pal. And if that happens, that happens. I will be humbled about it and no problem. I think it would be great for everybody else that is interested to see it and want to see it for free on here. I think that'd be really cool for you guys. If we're accepted, I can legally make an IMDb page for it. So that would be really cool, as you could go on IMDb and literally see director John Grande and the cast and the crew. And I have all these wonderful behind the scenes photos that I could add. I have somebody working on the poster right now as we speak. So there's going to be a poster for this. And I know probably people asking, you're 19 minutes in, you've never even mentioned the name of the fucking thing. It's actually called Down by the Bay, which is a play on the old school nursery rhyme. And like I said, again, I kind of want to divulge the plot. Like, I want to keep the plot under wraps. I don't want it, because if I say that, I mean, then it's like, okay, you can expect what to expect going in. I want it just to be raw. I want it to be unexpected when you go in, and I hope that experience works. I will say this though. It is a story where I have a message, but I also am really paying homage to the genre that I've loved my whole life, which is the horror genre. I mean, it's really my love letter to this whole thing, and how much it means to me. And like I said, it could turn out great, and people will be throwing confetti and babies in the air. It could turn out horrible, and people would literally be cutting grande rants on their own channel saying how big of a hack I am and I need to go fucking home and all these things. And I am fair game for that. I'll tell you guys right now, if you guys don't like my movie, my short, whatever, what have you, if you guys don't like it, don't feel bad or feel the need to hold back. I can take criticism as long as you don't bring my mother into it, or like as long as it's fair, like as long as you don't like, oh listen, you fucking, as long as it's fair criticism and you're not fucking attacking my family and shit. Like I'm on limits. My family and friends or whatever, fuck, they're off limits. Leave them out of it. You criticize me all you want. I think I'd be a hypocrite not to feel that way, because listen, I come on here every fucking Thursday and I tell you how I feel, whether I like something, whether I hate something, whether I love something. I come on here and I give you exactly what I think. I'm not afraid to sugarcoat anything, and I'm not afraid to tell you when I have an unpopular opinion or a popular opinion. I'm really not either way. So if people don't like it, that's totally fine. Tell me why. I would love the constructive criticism and feedback. Tell me what I did wrong. Tell me what I could have done better if you think so, or if you've come from the background of making films or writing short stories or what have you. I'm open to people telling me exactly how they feel or what they think. Because if I didn't feel that way, I think I'd be a hypocrite. I think I'd be a fucking bastard to feel that way. And I really don't. I don't feel that way at all. This has just all been such a positive experience for me, though. It really has. I'm excited to see the finished product tomorrow. I'll be excited to sit down with my editor, Mark, and see this whole thing from beginning to end. And I think it's just going to be a really crazy moment. I think like it's going to be hard not to be emotional, because this is something, like I said, I never thought would happen. I've wanted to do it for years. And then finally, when we got there, man, I think I did a really good job. I was overwhelmed and unsure of myself the day of, like when we were, okay, we're shooting today. This is it. You're a director today. You're Mr. Director Man today. And I walked to that set, and like all of these past filmmakers that I've watched growing up ran through my mind. I mean, this guy ran through my mind. Of course, George Romero. I was wearing my George Romero shirt because that's my lucky shirt. I mean, so many great things have happened to me in that shirt. Like my ex-girl, I think the first date I ever had with my ex-girlfriend, I was wearing that shirt, and it's just my lucky shirt, like Monster Mania. Like it's so many good nights and memories in my life where I was wearing that shirt. So that's like my lucky shirt. And I was like, I need George with me tonight. Like I think about Romero. I think about Argento. I'm thinking about even the lesser talked about filmmakers, guys like Dan Curtis and guys like Dante Tomaselli and even Penny Marshall and all these wonderful filmmakers that I've just idolized. And man, I was like, you know what, tonight, even if this turns out horrible, I want to be on that page. I'm doing the same occupation that they did, and they did it because they loved it, and they brought every single thing that they could to the projects they were on. And that's what I really set out to do. I was like, I don't want to be complacent. I don't want to be tired. I want to bring the most energy that I can to this thing. And when we were wrapping up in the night, I was walking to my car with my editor, and he said, man, you fucking killed it. And I was like, you think so? He says, man, you were ridiculously nice, and the energy you brought was incredible. He was like, you really did a good job. And I needed to hear it from someone. And then Josh called me a few days later, told me basically the same thing. He said, you fucking did a great job. You killed it, man. He says, I've directed numerous plays. He said, I wouldn't have thought it was your first time. You really know what you wanted and got it out of these actors. And I was so fucking happy to hear that from someone who has directed stage plays. Like that's definitely like not lost on me, the kind words that have already been thrown my way. It really humbles you. It does. So yeah, no, I just wanted to get on here. I wanted to explain this to everybody and tell everybody how excited I am for Down by the Bay. I dare not go. That's the tagline. I dare not go. Like I said, not going to divulge the plot because you'll see it. I promise you guys will see it. I promise. We got to see what goes on with the festival. If we get into the fucking festival, you're going to have to wait till October. If we get declined, I'll probably do an update video and be like, listen, we're just going to drop it at this date. And then hopefully you guys come on, check it out. Tell me if you love it, hate it, or or meh on it. Whatever you're feeling, please let me know. Be honest with me. I'll be honest with you. Just like I said, leave my fucking mother and all the other shit. Just leave that shit out of it, because that they don't deserve any of that. If it's bad, it's on me. It really is, because this is my baby. Like I said, I paid everybody. I wrote every fucking line, and I directed every fucking scene. I actually let my assistant director do one shot. So every single shot except one was directed by yours truly. So this is really my baby, and I love it no matter what. It's really, it'd be hard for me to turn a blind eye or cheek to it, because this was just such a fun experience. And I remember a couple weeks ago I did the Stuart Gordon show, and I remember the actor saying, Stuart, lately things have been so boring. This movie reanimated me. I feel that way with this. Like granted, not that my life has been boring or whatever, but it really did. It reanimated me. It just made me feel great about myself. And I was like, you know what? Like, win, lose, or draw with this, I did the best I could. And it's one thing to judge movies. It's one thing to judge wine, or I guess in my case, Mountain Dew. It's one thing to judge Mountain Dew, but can you make it? Can you do it? And, we'll see. That's the whole thing, that's the whole fucking show there. We'll see. Can I make Mountain Dew? Can I make a horror movie that, stands up and people like and remember, or will it just go away like a fart in church? We're going to see. We will totally see. And I don't know, whatever happens, but I definitely am happy that I gave it a shot. And I would honestly like to do more. I really do. I really would like to do more. And if I could get the same cinematographer, Joe Laspina did a great job. If Josh wants to assist me again, that would be wonderful. I'd even love for Josh to act in it, because he's an actor first, like I said. I have other ideas that would cost more money. It definitely would. Like this whole thing, I guess I could tell you guys, the budget for this was a little over $1,000. That's what I spent out of my own pocket to pay for this. Around, I think it was like $1,100, $1,200, somewhere in that ballpark, for this whole thing. And mind you, like I said, Joe Laspina saved me about $1,000. So it would have been $2,200 if he didn't do that. So that saved me literally my entire budget, like almost my entire budget doubled. So that was a big, big thing, man. But yeah, no, it really, I would love to keep doing this. I would love to keep making more. And if it gets positive, if it's mostly positive and people enjoy it and people are liking it, if we get accepted into a film festival where I literally go and see it on the big screen and there's awards and stuff like that, like if we won an award, fantasizing here, but how great would that be? I mean, just, oh my God, that would be the greatest fucking moment of my life. Just the greatest thing ever to literally see my movie play on the big screen with all those other ones that I fucking have watched and loved and adored and been a fan of my entire life. Like that would be like the whole thing with Rudy, you got to play one play to be in those record books. You got to direct one short to be in the fucking theater with all those other movies, and mine's not going to be half as good or a quarter as good as a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But like I said last night, it gives you something to shoot for. You have to have something to shoot for, and you got to stay humble. So yeah, that is the story of Down by the Bay. That is the whole, ups and downs and stuff like that. I didn't share all the challenges or all the, stuff like that. I guess maybe one day I'll do a commentary and I could tell people exactly, some of the struggles and hardships or the best moments and the funniest moments and the fun behind the scenes stories. There are a ton of them. Cool enough, my editor, he has all the footage of me directing. So he was like, dude, after we finished this, I'll fucking edit that and we can literally do like a making of, or a just showing highlights of me directing and some of the conversations that went on and my work with some of the actors. That would be really cool to throw that as like a bonus feature on the channel that I could upload at any time. So that's something I might just upload before the movie even comes out. That would be something really cool to kind of something to tide you over, if you will. So that would be kind of cool. But everybody, I've been going on for far too long. I tend to do that. I have a knack for that. It's been about a half hour of me fucking gushing about this. So I'm sorry. I don't want to waste any more of your time. But everybody, I just want to say thank you for the support and the kind words. The people that didn't even know what was going on. People that were like, whoa, what is that son of a bitch cooking up? This is what we're cooking up. It's a little bit of Down by the Bay. I dare not go. So I'm super excited to share all this information with you. And I hope that everybody, when it does come out, I hope you guys like it. I really do. I'll keep you guys posted. If we get into the festival, I'll make a video say we got in. And it obviously wouldn't be able to air, like I said, after the 21st. If we don't, we'll get the video anyway. Either way, win, lose, or draw on that. If we get in, I'll make a video. If we don't get in, I'll make a video, and I'll keep you guys updated on it. And I'm very excited to hear people's feedback and what they think, and maybe even a rant in my style, or even a praisal in my style. Either way, I would be very humbled by either, if anyone even watches it. So I just want to say thank you all for your love and support. Really, it humbles me. It does, and I stay humbled. I really do. So everybody, thank you so much. Have a safe, happy, healthy weekend, and we will catch you this Thursday for the Dracula triple threat match. Dracula 31 versus Count Dracula 1970 versus Dracula 92 this week only on the Graveyard. Too Sweet Peace, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.